Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to day number 7 of the horror movie Scratch Offs. And we're talking about a movie from 2004. I can't believe this film is over 20 years old already, and that is the original Saw, the one that started the entire franchise, starring Carrie Elways. We also have Lee Whannell, Danny Glover, and this is, of course, the introduction of the Jigsaw Killer. And again, from 2004, here's the good old card that I pulled showing which movie I had to watch, and it was fun. This is only the second time, honestly, that I've seen this film. I'm not the biggest fan of the Saw franchise, but I do enjoy this one. It's probably like the only one that I really do enjoy, and I think for me in particular, it's because James Wan is a part of this, and I'm a big James Wan fan. And Lee Whannell, who plays Adam in this film, actually again helped create the Saw franchise, helped James Wan with this film. So again, just it's one of those films that when you look at it, the aesthetic, the atmosphere, the way it's shot is definitely so early 2000s. It's definitely very early 2000s how this film looks. But it doesn't lose its charm of what it's trying to do, and that is, just what's going to happen next and what kind of traps are we going to get. And this film keeps things pretty grounded. Yes, some of the traps are crazy, but it keeps it more grounded, especially considering how the other installments in the franchise go later down the line. This one keeps it more grounded. These two gentlemen, played by Carrie Elways, by the name of Dr. Lawrence Gordon, he is locked in this room with Lee Whannell's character of Adam. They're chained up by their ankles. There's a dead body on the floor. What is going on? Why are these gentlemen here? Why has Jigsaw kidnapped both of them and brought them here? Now, we find out later on in the film, if you haven't seen this one, guys, if you don't want to hear any kind of spoilers, I'm not going to spoil the exact ending of this film, but if you don't want to hear any other spoilers, stop the video, go check it out, and come on back and finish the review. But we see throughout the film, we do get some flashbacks. Danny Glover is in this playing a police officer who's on the track of the case, trying to track down the Jigsaw Killer. Now, even though we get those flashbacks, we get an idea of the traps that Jigsaw is capable of setting. The film is primarily about these two gentlemen. Why are they there? And we find out kind of like throughout the film that Jigsaw, he's kind of looking at people who commit sins in his eyes, and he wants to right wrongs in his way, what he feels are wrongs. And we find that Adam Lee Whannell is a photographer, and he was kind of like tracking Lawrence Gordon's character, Carrie Elway's character, and he finds him going into this hotel. And what's going to happen in that hotel? Well, I'm not going to spoil that, guys, but it's enough to make Jigsaw feel like there is a sin that is being committed. And for Adam, it's him taking money and basically going and filming these or taking pictures and basically just ratting people out, taking money and doing things and taking photos that Jigsaw does not feel that should be being taken, and why, and feel that he should be getting money for these kinds of things. So it's definitely one of those films. Like Jigsaw, he's a killer. He's not a good guy, but he feels like he's doing things he feels like he's doing things that he needs to do to right wrongs. Now these two gentlemen throughout the film trying to figure out how are they going to get out of this. The Jigsaw has kidnapped the doctor's family, and he is going to murder his wife and daughter if he does not go ahead and kill Adam. So one of these gentlemen, he wants the doctor to kill Adam, and kind of like vice versa. That's the only way these guys are getting out of this thing alive. But one of the big scenes in the Saw franchise, especially for this film, is what Carrie Elways has to do in order to eventually get free from these chains. It involves a saw, it involves his ankle, and it is a brutal scene. And again, but this film, it just works. It doesn't feel like it goes off the rails like the other films in the franchise at times. And I think, again, that's why I think it's more of a structured story than we get in other ones. And for that, I definitely can appreciate the film. just remember when you watch it, it is early 2000s. So the way things are, this is how things were filmed back then, guys. In 2000, I can't believe it's over 20 years ago. It seems like it was just yesterday when this film, first came out. But I love how James Wan is able to set this up where you think you know what's going to happen at the end, but boy, oh boy, is there a incredible twist ending that if you've never seen the film, it's shocking to see because it's something that you don't see coming. And I know that, I didn't see this film for the first time until, a few years ago, but I can imagine when people saw this originally when it came out in theaters, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they actually went with that particular twist. And for that, I have to applaud James Wan, Lee Winnell. They created something pretty special with this franchise. Whether you love or hate the franchise, they definitely created something that will go down in history as one of the longest sustaining horror franchises out there. It's remarkable what they were able to do. And again, for that, I have to applaud them. But this film is definitely, for me, this is where it is for Saw. I've seen the other ones. Again, not the biggest fan. I like to stick with this one, and this is the one that I really feel has the most structure in story. But guys, let's go ahead and get to what's going to be our next film, guys. Let's go ahead and shuffle up the deck of cards and figure this out and see what we have. Okay, let's figure it out. Okay. Here is the winning card. Now, it says it's a comedy. Now, this is a horror deck, but yeah, it says it's a comedy from 1981, 97 minutes, rated R. So let's go ahead and scratch this one off and see if we can figure out exactly what it is. So far, I don't know what this is. Now I do. It's a film that surprisingly some people actually consider to be a comedy. And it's from director John Landis, and it is the classic An American Werewolf in London. Which, guys, I know, but I have not seen this one. I have never seen American Werewolf in London. I've seen scenes of the transformation, but I've never seen the whole film all the way through from start to finish. So this should be very interesting. So like, subscribe, and comment if you get the chance, and I'll catch you in another episode. Take care.